Yep.
Okay. So we should be live now. We are very live. All right, what's up, everybody? I'm waiting for my. There it goes. YouTube stream is screen is refreshing. CP, say something.
Something special, something
Something
flavorful.
special.
Congratulations, Cody. Even
Yeah.
though we're little.
Don't tell me the edible panties flavor. Wait until the end.
Okay.
Wait until the end, as always. You guys can hear CP, right? Okay, Cody, say something.
Hello, beautiful people.
Sweet.
Not the ones I'm looking at, the ones that I'm looking at the words.
Yep. Everybody can. Brian, say something.
I'm eating nuts.
Brian is eating nuts.
Yeah, what else is new?
Take that however you will.
Yep. So you guys can hear us, right? Let us know. Let us know in the chat, and then I'll kick off the intro music.
Mm-hmm.
Good to go. Amanda from Aesthetic Star says we're good to go, so I'm going to take her word for it.
Nothing like getting a Lee, Cody, and others. Brian, we're the others.
It's not a stream without that, boys.
Cody, did you hit 25,000?
Not
I'm damn close.
Oh, man.
I'm
You should keep your hair shut.
300 or so away.
100? No, you're like.
No,
Does-
300. Oh, I am. Oh, well. Stay tuned. I'll check.
Yeah,
All right, cool.
he's close, real close.
24,948.
Damn. You getting there, buddy.
52.
Getting there.
52.
All right, here we are live with the intro.
Hashtag I'm eating nuts. Get that trendy.
Matthew's in the chat.
Bro. Oh, you have to change my name. My name's not really your username.
Not looking at big kid. The other guy.
Oh, we'll get to that. Yeah. Why don't I Cody at the ring? Just Cody at the ring.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of Scream Stream. Tonight we're going to be talking about 2019 horror. There's a lot of movies coming out. A lot of indie movies, a lot of bigger movies. As we know, last year was the we had Halloween. So, is there going to be a movie like that this year? We will
Escape Room.
dig in.
Number
and we'll
one
see if
for
we
me
can
so
find out.
far.
Cody, how are you doing, brother?
I am doing very well. I had the house to myself for the first time in, I think, over 4 years. So,
And you're spending this
There's
time with
that.
us. What
That's
a
right.
moron.
right. I'm not wearing pants. I'll just say that.
Oh,
There you
so
go.
big difference from usual.
It's always nice having the house to yourself. You know.
I wouldn't know. I don't know. Talk to me in the morning. I'll let you know.
Not that I don't miss my wife. When I'm sure she likes having a little bit of alone time too. But sometimes it's nice to run around naked in the house and nobody's looking. So, CP, how are you doing, brother?
Listen, run around naked it's my lifestyle.
There you go.
Dip your nuts in some applesauce and
If anybody on Scream Stream is going to run around naked, it's CP. That'd be my
absolutely.
first guess.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Brian, how you doing, brother?
Good, mate, yeah. Just, living life at 2 o'clock in the morning,
Yep.
making every second count.
That's right.
I was thinking, oh, by the way, Lindsay has a sick child, and children always, family always comes first, right? That's part of the reason why we waited. The last Scream stream we had was like Christmas time, so we were supposed to have one about a week ago, but now we're finally all together. But I was like thinking today, I was like, it's funny, like we all have very different personalities, even when it comes to like movies. We all have different tastes, but we all like respect each other, and but it's so funny how far apart we are when it comes to movies sometimes. Like I could almost guess that if I like a movie, then one of the screen, like there's no way all of us have ever agreed on one movie. I mean, would you say that that's a fair summation there, Brian?
Yes.
I
think
that's fair.
I
Thank
think
you.
we agree on some of the classics, but we agree to certain degrees. You know what I mean? There's some of us that's like, whoa, and the rest of us are like, yeah.
I think
like it
that's
when it's
the
4
thing
on
too.
1.
It's like everybody unanimously agrees on the classics, and I think that's because of nostalgia. Like nostalgia plays a
for
big
Friday
part
the
in that.
13th.
And then once you get into the what did I miss? What did I miss?
I said except for Friday the 13th.
Yeah. Well, once you get into
CP
like the
had to go
modern
rock
movies,
the
that's
boat
when we
and
all start veering off from each other.
Yeah.
Kind of
What I do about Candyman?
You've rocked the boat. All of us are like,
Hey, here we
well
go.
made up with Candyman, and you're like, nah.
The garage scene, bro. The garage scene.
Yeah.
Who among us
no.
did? Cody, you liked Candyman, didn't you?
All of us unanimously loved it, and CP was kind of
Oh, that's right.
marginally liking it.
12-year-old me was like, "Oh my god, this movie's awesome," and then present day me is like, "Dude, take it easy."
Yeah.
So I was fine. I enjoyed it. I just didn't. Oh my god,
Your 12-year-old self has better taste than your current.
I won't dispute that.
Yeah, maybe. And
Donald Newton, thank you, $5. Hello,
Yes.
Lee. How are you doing? Big day for me. Big
day for Donald. Do tell, man. Tell us what's going on for your day. But yeah, we'll press forward, and I guess let's get the let's rip the Band-Aid off. First off, let me say hello in the chat. Tiger Man, John Kyle Stanton, Late Horror Show, Dino. What's up, brother? Daniel Hammond, Horror Junkie.
Lindsay was poking around a second ago too.
Who's that?
Lindsay was in the chat.
Yes,
a second ago.
I saw Lindsay in there. So at least we got Lindsay in the chat. We'll take Lindsay any way we can get her, right? So there you go. I know she's busy with the little ones.
Wreaking havoc with the wrench.
Yeah. Do you guys want to jump in right with like Chucky? Like
Yes.
What are the like
your rodeo.
Cody's the Chucky guy of us. So what are the big updates that we've seen like within the last couple months on Chucky? I've heard that there's supposed to be a trailer coming out this next week.
February 8th is what's supposed to be, because on the last motion poster it's a blink and you'll miss it thing on one of the ornaments that says 2-8. So that's what everybody's kind of nailing next week for the trailer release. But they haven't really announced a lot. Like it seems like they have, because everybody's been gotten their fucking nipples in a twist about everything they've said. But they've shown somewhat the doll. They showed the poster with the empty box. They showed a picture with Aubrey Plaza and some promotional material behind her, and that's about it.
CP, what do you want from this trailer? Like, do you want
trailer?
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess the trailer and the movie. I mean, it is an important question, because a lot of times if they give you too much in the trailer, then it kind of ruins the whole thing for you. Like, I saw reviews, and I hate to bring up the H word, but I saw reviews on Halloween, and in some of the reviews, people would say, they showed this in the trailer, and because they showed this in the trailer, I didn't like the movie. Which made no sense to me whatsoever. Like, you shouldn't judge how you feel on a movie based on what you saw in the trailer. I mean, would you agree with that, Brian?
Yeah, I guess.
You can lose some impact for sure.
I tend to try and steer away from trailers these days precisely because they show too much. Like, Velvet Buzzsaw was one of my most anticipated films of this year because just of the names attached. You know, Nightcrawler was such an awesome film. So to have Dan Gilroy back directing, and Jake Gyllenhaal, Rene Russo, I was like, yeah, this looks awesome. And I watched the trailer for that. I couldn't resist. I kid you not, if you've seen the trailer for that there's one of the major cast members in it. You literally see her die in the trailer. You see so the whole time I'm just waiting for this to happen, and it really pissed me off a bit. So I prefer teaser trailers that kind of involve footage that ain't necessarily in the film, but is there purely for the trailer, designed to give you a flavor of the film. The one I always kind of point at is that initial teaser trailer we got to The Dark Knight, where you heard the voices of characters, you saw the card, and it ended on that laugh, and it gave you a flavor of what was to come without showing you anything in the film.
Yeah, the Independence Day mentality.
Yeah, and if they had Brad Dourif in the film, if they had his voice is pretty iconic as Chucky. You could do something similar. You could have, you could have, a camera coming in close, getting closer on a darkened Chucky doll box, and then finding out that it's empty once we get to the end of the shot, and then have Chucky's voice playing over the top of it with his laugh or whatever at the end. That to me would get me more excited than actually seeing a trailer that just blows its wad in 2 minutes and gives everything away.
Well, to play devil's advocate, sometimes the footage that, like, I'll use the Rogue One trailer as an example, where they showed that TIE fighter hovering when what's her face is on the plank or whatever. That shot is nowhere in the movie. I mean, that's what they end the trailer on. So sometimes, like, to get you all gassed up with stuff that just isn't in the movie. So
they'll do a trailer with like half the scenes aren't from the actual movie, just to get you jazzed, like you said.
So it depends. I think less is more. If you can sell a movie without showing us anything, then good job. But I don't put so much into the trailer. It's like Cody. We were talking. I forgot what movie we were talking about. You avoid trailers just because of things people are talking about, and I don't know. It's better to go in blind sometimes. Most times, I would think.
I'm pretty much getting to the point where I feel like I'm done with trailers, and I know it's easier said than done, because certain trailers, like, I'm probably gonna watch that Child's Play trailer, but just to give you an example, like, I just watched and I was talking about this movie with you guys, What Keeps You Alive, and that's a trailer done right, I think, because it's very ambiguous. You don't really have the gist, at least I didn't, from the trailer of what the movie was completely about. You just knew it was, it was psychotic horror. It was very violent, but even still, it's the type of movie that when you watch it, and it's almost like you're putting the pieces together because of images that you saw in the trailer, and it's one of those movies that there is a huge spoiler in the first quarter of the movie, and you're like, God, I wish I didn't see this particular scene from the trailer. So that kind of made me think, I wish that I could just, not watch trailers altogether at this point, and not to jump off of Child's Play, because we're still going to talk about Child's Play, but I mean, Cody, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, Sinister was the movie that kind of ruined me on trailers, because I was really excited for that movie, and that is a pure example right there of the entire fucking movie being in the trailer. Like, there was no surprises in that movie. So ever since then, I'll watch most trailers, but like Halloween, like, I only watched the first one. The second one that showed that whole long take, I avoided it. There was 6 times at least in the theaters where I heard the note come on of John Carpenter. I said, "Oh shit!" and I got out the theater and walked in. I stood outside like an asshole for like 3 minutes. So it's something you kind of have to train yourself for. But my mentality is, if I'm going to go see Child's Play regardless if there's no trailers. So I just want to see this first one. All I really want from this trailer is I want them to show the new dynamic with Andy and his friends, the group of kids. I want to see the tone of the movie. I want them to show that it's going to be a serious slasher movie going back to its roots, and I want to hear Chucky's voice at least once. That's really all I need. I want to see how it works with the kids. I want to see the tone, and I want to hear what Chucky sounds like, because those are the only 3 things that worry me about the movie that could go great or terrible. So as long as it gives me enough of a taste right there, beyond that, I'll probably never watch another trailer.
CP, I got a question for you. Like, do you want this to be a lot of comedy in this Child's Play movie, or are you looking for just a straight up serious kind of robotic killer doll movie?
I'm one of the few people that really enjoyed The Predator, so if they execute the comedy well enough, I'm okay with it.
Use that example.
Well,
The Predator?
Yeah. Because Donald, $10. Chapter 1 was posted today. Chapter 2 will be released. I will do this weekly. I'm excited but scared. Hope this does well.
He's dropping a novel that he's writing, or a short story, I believe. I saw it for a second on Killer Flicks. So
okay, so
if you're in
check that
Killer
out.
Flicks, check it out.
Yeah, that's cool, man. That's good. Go for those dreams, right?
But yeah, I think I'll let CP finish his thoughts, but I want it to be mostly serious, like the first film is, and even to a degree the second one. But they do have to have some wit and some one-liners type humor in there. Otherwise, it's not Chucky.
Right. Which reminds me of something else. I don't know if you have the Ted Bundy movie listed on your list there.
Oh,
Lee.
yeah, definitely.
All right, so we're gonna get back to that.
Uh-huh.
All right, so just
I
remind
definitely
me.
have some words for that.
Yeah, because I don't know if you've all seen the trailer. I'd like to discuss that for a hot minute.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, but as long as it's executed properly, like I said, The Predator didn't hit for 98% of people, but I found it fine. It fit for whatever reason. It fit with me. So if you're asking me personally, if they execute it and let you know that you're in on the joke, then fine. It just don't be the Ted Bundy movie about it. It's without spoiling our discussion later.
Dino had a good question. How do you feel about Chucky not having a soul, Brian? Any thoughts on that? Does it matter that if Chucky has Charles Lee Ray's soul or not, or anybody's soul?
The thing is, it's like you can always say whether it will or won't be good, that whether that concept will or won't be good, but it's all down to execution with everything. To use The Dark Knight as an example, when we first learned that the Joker wasn't going to be the result of a Axis Chemicals plunge, that his scars, his skin wasn't going to be bleached white, it was going to be makeup that he put on himself. That's like, as a Batman fan, that was like, no way, you don't do that at all. That's a ridiculous idea. But the execution was pure brilliance.
It worked.
And then people just did not care. So it's like, you can give me all the story elements you want from the new film now. If somebody could literally write them on paper and shove them in front of us, and we could sit here and go, oh, that sounds great. Or we could sit here and say, oh, that sounds absolutely ridiculous. But it's all down to the execution. So to me, it's like, how do you talk about something that none of us comprehend?
There are like robot movies where there is no soul, but there's still that AI there. There's still, like, even Terminator 2.
Terminator.
He learned. He learned behavior. Why do you cry? He couldn't go as far as cry, but you could tell that there was like a connection there.
Here's how I look at it.
My main worry is that there's not going to be.
Finish that thought. I'm going to go get a monster.
A solid identity for this guy, like having Charles Lee Ray, having that particular soul, being able to jump from one Chucky body to another. Even though the body changes, we've still got the same character. So if we're going to reduce it down to a thing where it's a load of different Chuckies and they're all AI, and it kind of takes away that identity, that personality. So,
Curse of Chucky. Cult of Chucky, excuse me.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know how they're going to do if they're going to do multiple Child's Play or multiple Buddy dolls or anything like that. But this, like you said, the identity, it has to have the personality. Doesn't have to be identical to Brad Dourif's, but it has to have a personality that stands out. But my biggest thing is this. Everybody's gotten really pissed about the whole, it's not going to be a serial killer with a voodoo aspect. It's going to be about an artificial intelligence that either becomes self-aware or somebody tinkers with it and gives it more intelligence than it was programmed to have, something. They haven't been clear on it. But it's different. It's going to keep the spirit, hopefully, but it's different, and that's what you should do if you're going to do a remake. You know what I mean? I don't understand the point of making a remake, keeping everything the same. I think if you're going to make a remake to a classic like Child's Play, at least do something wildly different to try to have something, a different direction. And if it succeeds, to me, if you got this robotic AI that kills just because it's programmed to or because it's self-aware and realize that humans need to die or whatever the reason they give us, it all depends on execution, like you said, but that could be scarier. And a doll that's just there to kill versus sequel after sequel after sequel of somebody just trying to get out of a human doll or get out of a doll into a human body, only to get to, what was it, number 5, where he decides, you know what, fuck it, I'll just stay a doll after all that. So it's, it gives a lot of potential if it's good for the future, I think.
Do you think they made a conscious decision to pivot after Cult with the?
I think for one, I think it was a creative decision to be different. But 2, I think it was also because we still have the current Child's Play run going. We still have a TV show coming. We still have supposedly more movies coming. So I think that they were going out of their way creatively to be respectful to what's already there and to what's already came and what's still to come from the Universal franchise. Like if they did everything exactly the same, then you would literally have 2 identical franchises running, where this one could just take the spirit and take the tone of the original film, which the franchise got way away from, and go in a completely different direction. And even though they're both called Child's Play, they're both going to be, not stepping on each other's toes, regardless what Don Mancini wants to think.
Lee is holding a Chucky doll. We can't see it.
He is a cool looking Chucky doll. I'm hoping that this Chucky does get like scars on his face, and I really hope he gets like 2 fingers blown off, like in the 3rd act.
Wow,
that's my Michael
Hope he
Myers
gets
joke,
locked into a toy store while it's on fire, and he just stares at everybody.
I think,
and then you have Andy and the mom driving away.
As it's burning, he's just like staring up at Andy, and he goes, "Fuck you."
I think if you do have a lot of Chuckies running around, they will scar one of them up, the ringleader, to give them that. Like they did with Alien versus Predator, the first one.
I liken it to Gremlins. You'll have Spike and you'll have everybody else.
Yeah.
But I hope they don't do that.
2 Predator franchise references today so far. Just
there you go.
Do we want to jump into that Ted Bundy movie?
Can we?
Please?
Can we? Because, oh man, that movie looks dark and sinister and creepy.
Well, can I defend it a
and
little
not
bit?
at all funny. Oh, defend? Please.
All right, here we go. All right, I literally just, as probably many people did, I just watched that Netflix documentary, and it was pretty eye-opening. I always knew that Ted Bundy had this persona. He was this good-looking guy. He went against the stereotype of normal serial killers, and but just scratching the surface, that's all I knew. And then when I watched the documentary, it kind of fit with the actual trailer for the movie, and same director, by the way. But that is who Ted Bundy was as a person. So I think they were just trying to showcase how he was as a person in that trailer, not to glorify him or anything. Because I guarantee you in the movie, I haven't seen the movie, of course, but I think what they're going to do, if they're smart, is, they're tricking you with this trailer, but when you see the movie, it's actually you're going to see a much darker side to him, and it's not going to make him look as good as it does in the trailer. The trailer's there to get you interested in the movie and I guess to seduce you. I think it could have been darker, but I think it really showcased what Ted Bundy was as a person. I mean, the guy was the most narcissistic guy on the planet. And that's really what Zac Efron is portraying in that trailer. We already
have a movie with that tone about Ted Bundy. It's called Bundy. It was straight to DVD in like 2002, I want to say.
Yeah. I never got the chance to see that one.
Please.
Can I just say about a lot of the criticisms I've heard as well? It's kind of hypocritical in a way, because I feel like the film itself is going to be something of a commentary on celebrity culture within serial killers, and it's like people are railing against the trailer for kind of doing that, but actually the people who watch the serial killer movies, that it's kind of what they do with people like Jason and Freddy and Michael, and they
all fictional characters.
Yeah,
Man,
fictional characters.
Fictitious.
That's a really interesting topic to bring up, Brian. And I think it's just, where do you got to separate entertainment from reality. I can be entertained
but I
watching.
don't think that the new Ted Bundy movie is saying that this is how we should feel about the guy. I think what it's saying is that this is the way we treat serial killers from a media perspective. We do kind of.
You think they're sending that message with a trailer?
Yeah,
not with the trailer.
I kind of do.
Film.
No.
I think the tone of the film will. I think the film will be about that celebrity kind of culture that exists within.
So you think the tone of the trailer is sending that message?
If I can interject, if you watch South Park, they actually poke fun at American society and how you would have these families at night. Their primetime television would be what South Park refers to as informative murder porn. They like to watch these like CSI and all these. The bloodier, the better. If it bleeds, it leads. It's kind of the same thing with the news at night and serial killers and all that stuff. We are just attracted, for whatever reason, to violence. And what is more violent than a serial killer? So it kind of fits in that mold.
And actually, CP, I do think the trailer does kind of invite that interpretation, because there's times in that trailer where Bundy breaks the fourth wall and he literally winks at the audience, and it's this idea that actually the audience becomes complicit in what he's doing as a result of that.
Yeah,
and it makes us as the audience question. Well, the way that everyone is, question whether we should be allowing ourselves to be complicit in that. But, like we only do that when we do get this non-fictionalized serial killer winking at us from the screen. I think that kind of holds a mirror up to why it is we even click on a trailer for a movie about Ted Bundy. So
I'm not as well versed in Ted Bundy as most people. I didn't get a chance to watch all of the tapes. I sat down. Holiday was about halfway through it. I probably watched about an hour and a half of it, and then she went to work, so I just saw pieces of it. But what I got from the trailer is just really diving into that whole thing about Ted Bundy being, kind of bringing a new perspective to what a serial killer can look like to a degree and act like and behave like. Like, we think serial killer, like you see some of the as recent as a couple of years ago, like some of the people that shoot up a church or shoot up a school, and it shows a picture of them, and you're like, how the fuck did nobody think that guy was not crazy until now? And then you see something like Ted Bundy, where, especially portrayed by Zac Efron, like kind of he's a guy that most guys are supposed to hate because we're never going to be that good looking no matter how hard we try. Yeah. Like it's supposed to be, to me, it's inviting that question of like, when you look at this guy, when you hear him talk, when you see his personality run, when you see how charming he is, how alluring he is, how much he can control the room and just be fun to watch, is that a serial killer? And most people, if you just look at it, no, there's no fucking way that guy's a serial killer, when the two things do not correlate at all. So I think it's kind of, even though that movie you mentioned, the direct-to-DVD, might have done exactly that, I could probably count on two hands how many people saw it. So I think they don't really care.
It wasn't a good time.
Yeah, so to me, it's just showing the story of Ted Bundy while he was being accused of this stuff, which, correct me if I'm wrong, he was accused of a certain number of murders. He took his own, he didn't have a lawyer that was presenting. He was presenting his own case. Everybody really liked him. Even the judge liked him. There was women outside the fucking courtrooms. Let Ted go. He can't be a killer. He gets convicted. Maybe people believe it. Maybe they don't. And while he's incarcerated, they find more. And they find more. And this guy's fucking resume of people that he's butchered just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. All the while, everybody that questions is going, this guy can't be a serial killer. He's too good looking. He's too charming. There's no way. And I think it's the charisma thing. And I think it's diving into that, how Ted Bundy changed that. You're not looking for the guy covered in sweat wearing a wife beater holding a meat cleaver. It could be somebody next door that you think is the nicest, coolest dude in the world.
My favorite scene, to quote from my favorite Jonathan Demme movie, is based on Ted Bundy. The Buffalo Bill, struggling to put a couch in a van. That's Ted right
Bundy,
out of that's right out of Ted
Bundy. Pretty much his calling card.
Right. So, you could do it. You could do charisma. Well, I wouldn't call that scene charismatic, but you could toe the line without being. I don't know. I felt like the trailer was borderline campy.
Yeah.
And it's going to depend how
the trailer
they
was
execute that.
superficial, and I think it fits because if you watch the documentary, a lot of these interviewees, they were so fascinated with Ted Bundy until they talked with the guy. After about, they said they were sick of Ted Bundy because he was just the most narcissistic guy, and you couldn't really break through the first layer of him. He didn't really want to talk about the murders. All he wanted to talk about was himself and how great he was. I mean, the guy was so vain that he wanted to defend himself in his own case. He didn't even want a lawyer. And when his lawyer actually was making some headway for him in the case, he sabotaged it. He got jealous that his lawyer was actually doing a good job. No, I should be doing that. So.
Not only that, there's the moment where he sabotages his own case when he's got somebody on the witness stand, and Ted Bundy's actually doing the cross-examination.
Yeah.
And he asks them to recite the murder step by step. And
explain to me in detail what I did to you.
Yeah.
So I can hear it and get off on it.
And they have the camera on the jury, and everybody's like tossing and turning, and it's just like, oh, dude. Yeah. Well, Norman Bates is another charismatic character that you can pull off that.
Yeah.
No, there's no way this guy's a killer. You could pull it off without sacrificing the tone. I guess is. I was talking about how much I enjoyed The Predator. So who the fuck am I to talk?
Well, that last shot in the trailer too, when it gets dark and it gets grim and it goes in his face, and they ask him, "Have you done that?" And he's like, "Absolutely not." To me, that told me there is going to be a shift in tone, either somewhere in the film or back and forth. So I think the point of the trailer was to show you this is not going to be your stereotypical Sci-Fi Channel Ted Bundy movie where you're going to follow Ted Bundy around as he butchers women and then he gets thrown in jail at the end by the detective with the mustache. It's I think that's what they were going for. So yeah, I'm intrigued, if nothing else, because of Zac Efron's casting. Because like I said, this is a guy, he's like Brad Pitt, where you want to hate him, but he's such a good actor when you don't think you should be, because you think of High School Musical, that I actually cheer him on, and I hope he does damn good in this, and I hope we get to see him do a lot more.
Oh yeah, me too. And I guess it just kind of circles right back around to that question: why are we so interested in serial killers? And for me, it's a psychological thing, because no two serial killers are exactly the same. Some of them are similar, but what would make a person, want to repeatedly take a life, and there's no emotional connection there? It's just they get off on it. To me, that's what makes it interesting. It's just I would never think like that. What would make somebody else think like that? So, we can move on to another movie that's coming out this year, Pet Sematary.
Yeah.
Anybody excited for that one, Brian?
My number 2 most anticipated of the year. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I really dug the original. That was one of the few films that genuinely scared me.
Directed by a woman.
Yeah, Zelda and all that. But I'm interested to see how they're going to handle that character in this one, to be honest. But the trailer I thought was good, although there were a few things in it that I hope were just there in the trailer and won't actually be that way in the film. Like, there's a few moments where they kind of do that weird editing thing where they speed things up.
Yeah.
It's very kind of, a bit like some of them Japanese kind of horror films. But I hope they don't do too much of that, because it's really annoying when it happens in American horror films. But otherwise, the tone of the trailer, looks pretty good. Cinematography looks pretty good. I like the actors that are involved. So who knows? Could be the dark horse this year when it comes to horror.
The only thing that really has me interested in it, because the trailer was good, but I love the original so much, like almost too much, that it's hard for me to get excited about a remake, because I compare, like when I was watching the trailer, I was just comparing everything beat to beat to the original, and I like the original better. But the directors of this, who directed Starry Eyes, that's the only thing that really gets me excited, because I love Starry Eyes. So I'm hoping they bring some of that flavor. Because Starry Eyes is a weird film, because it's there's like a tonal shift in like the third act, and it goes in a direction that you would not expect it to go in at all, and it gets violent as hell. And I'm hoping he I guess sprinkles a little bit of that flavor onto to Pet Sematary. I'll definitely do that day one though.
I am so sorry, Cody. Power Productions says congratulations on 25K, well deserved.
Thank you so much.
Almost there.
Yeah, very close. Hopefully by the end of the night.
Yeah, tell your friends.
Thank you so much.
Tell your friends and make it true.
Yes.
Yeah, the one thing that I'll say about Pet Sematary is that trailer's been in front of, I think, on at least 4 occasions when we've been in the theater. That trailer has come on, and each and every time there's been an audible reaction when the sign, I mean, like people, there are like, I would assume at least 10% of people that don't realize what the hell the trailer is until they show you the sign, Pet Sematary. And
fuck is that possible?
I know. And literally every single time, for the last 4 times we were at a movie that had that trailer, there's like an audible, oh, like you could tell that they're fired up. So I'm really interested to see how many people are actually going to go see it, because it's enough to take notice of, at least in the viewings that we've had of the trailer.
Yeah, I'm right there with Lee as far as like I love the original so much. I'm walking into this movie knowing it's not coming anywhere close to it. Like there's no way. Even if it's really good, it's not, because like it's my favorite Stephen King movie. It is one of 2 movies that genuinely scared me as a kid, and it's the only movie that got scarier as I got older because of how my situation has changed. When you have kids and you watch Pet Sematary, you watch it through a completely different lens, and the movie is just so disturbing and eerie and morbid with some of the things that it shows you. I mean, it just, to the scene that I always bring up now, which I never thought it was like a standout scene in the movie, but now that I have a kid, it's the one scene that really like fucks me up, is when he first digs Gage up and he just kind of holds him in the cold wind. Like that scene right there, I will fucking damn near choke myself out, like trying to hold back emotions. But the trailer looked pretty good. I haven't seen Starry Eyes yet, but everybody seems to be optimistic about that director choice, which makes me happy. It's not just, Joe Blow out of the back office that's going to be directing Pet Sematary. But it's mostly the casting that's getting me excited, because I really like, I think his name is Jason Clarke, who's playing Lewis. If anybody can do as good as Fred Gwynn, it's John Lithgow, even though he's probably not going to get close. But
he doesn't have that main accent, though.
I'm glad he's not copying Fred Gwynn, though. He's got his own flavor.
Exactly, he needs to, because you're not gonna match that if you just try to do an impersonation. But I love John Lithgow, so that excites me. From what I'm hearing, they're going a lot more novel accurate, which means it's going to go and take its own different turns, which is good. It's going to be a lot more brutal in some of the portrayals. Like it's going to be a lot more brutal with how Gage looks post semi-truck to the face. Yeah, it's going to be like Brian was asking about Zelda. From what I hear in the novel, Zelda is actually a lot younger. Like she's like maybe 13 or 14 years old, whereas in the original movie they portray her like she's 19 or 20 and looks like a full-grown man. Yeah, exactly. In this one, it's going to be a younger girl. So I know it's not going to be as effective as the Zelda we got in the original, but it's going to be a different spin. So
ain't nothing going to be that effective.
No.
Jesus.
So it's just. I'm just walking in hoping that it's going to take a lot of different turns to where it doesn't feel like a repeat of everything, and it's going to be good. That's all I really want from it. I know for a fact it's not going to touch the original for me.
For me, Pet Sematary was one of the first horror movies that really shocked me on like an emotional level, just because of Gage and the truck scene. I mean, right at the beginning when Gage gets hit by that truck, man, it freaking punches you right in the gut. And very few horror movies do that. Even if it's not scary, it's still very effective, and it is scary. So
It's the music. I mean, the way that people say
that
certain
piano
lines.
theme?
Yeah, that music
Yeah,
is so
and
great.
even in the opening, whenever they're just kind of zooming in on the cemetery, and you're just hearing la 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 la
Yeah.
la la la, like shit
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
There's so many layers to that movie that just fucking go through your bones. You're like, whoa. Doesn't matter how many times you watch it.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that we're gonna get at least an upgrade in the lead actor category because, what the fuck's his name? Dale
Midkiff.
Dale Midkiff was a bit of a.
No, stop.
He was a bit hammy.
No,
he was
stop.
a bit hammy.
I
was
hear
great.
that all the
I
time,
freaking
and
love
I
Dale
never
Midkiff.
understand that. I never understand.
Oh
I
my
think that
God.
he's really
He was
good.
When
amazing.
Gage calls him and he's all, "What did you do?"
The way he slammed his head on that end table.
That's acting right there. You can't teach that.
Nah, Dale Midkiff's good stuff, man. You should have saw
And
him in
Jason
like
Clarke,
Elvis,
somebody to sneeze
Elvis
at.
and Me. Oh,
Hey, speaking of an upgrade, though, I will say the only character in the original movie that does annoy me is the little girl because of her acting. So that can only be an upgrade.
Oh no,
You
please,
know?
for doll.
So that's the only upgrade that I need in acting is for
she worked
the
with
little
her.
girl. Yeah.
she was definitely memorable. I'll give her that.
Oh, she's memorable. It was the
twins,
crying
by the
stuff where she, you know,
Yeah.
it's about Pascal. You know what I mean? It's just.
Oh yeah, Pascal's black. Brian, thoughts?
Tee him right up.
I'll just stick a cock up your ass.
Oh my God! Inside joke, people. Inside joke.
Sorry.
Is there a? I only just picked up on this in the chat. Is there a 2019 version of Jacob's Ladder coming?
Oh really?
What?
I think that's one of those things where you look up on IMDb and see it with no pictures and nobody attached.
Pre-production.
Yeah, but it's greenlit. So hopefully, but maybe not. I don't know.
Right there with Clerks 3.
Some young director with a nickel and a dream, and he's gonna.
Yeah.
Make it. Yeah.
I don't know how you could redo Jacob's Ladder though. That's kind of a one and done story.
Yeah.
I don't know how you could recreate the journey that thing takes you on.
Yeah.
I gotta say a big thank you to the chat. They're throwing all kinds of 2019. Like somebody already brought up Godzilla. Somebody brought up Three from Hell, and I don't even have to go look at Google because they're teeing them right up for me. So, you guys want to jump over to Three from Hell, and then we'll
Why
do
not?
Godzilla.
It's fine. Next.
Yep.
Go ahead.
I'll say Three from Hell. Rob Zombie, man, he's just like he's hit and miss and hit, like literally hit and miss. And
Extreme hitting.
Miss and miss.
Yeah, missing.
Miss.
Well, hold on.
And miss.
I really like House of a Thousand Corpses. I really like
Yeah,
Devil's
that's a long
Rejects.
time ago, bro.
Both those movies are very different from each other. But his track record since Devil's Rejects, outside of Halloween 2, in my opinion, I actually like that one, is pretty miss. So I'm scared for this one. Even though I love the first two movies, I'm really scared for this one because does he have anything left in that story? Or is he just like grasping at straws?
Well, I mean, god damn, they're fucking dead. So where does this? I mean, I don't. Are they going to survive the millions of bullets they took? Is this literally going to take place in hell? And they're just kind of through their processing in prison. That's their version of purgatory. Is it a prequel? I don't know what to expect
there be a
from
white
this
horse?
movie. But yeah, I'll say this: I hated House of a Thousand Corpses, and I hated The Devil's Rejects when I first watched them when they first came out. I rewatched them.
Cody. Don't do it.
No, I'm not.
I could almost agree with that, Cody.
Rewatched
Not
them.
surprisingly.
Something that's crazy.
I rewatched them about 4 months ago because I like Halloween 2 along with you, one of like 8 people on Earth.
Yep.
Most of Lords of Salem I really like, but he fucks it up. So that's another one where I'm like, dude, you're almost there. But I rewatched them out of curiosity, and I'll say this: I don't think either one of them are good, but I enjoyed the ride that the movies take you on and the characters much more than I did back then. I don't know if I've just become a little bit more conditioned to Rob Zombie's style, and it wasn't such a brick in the face with the fucks and the cunts and everything like it was back in the early 2000s. But I was at least enjoying the characters enough where I'm curious to see where the story goes with them and see if maybe he'll do one movie with these characters that I'll genuinely like.
Well, he likes to really boost up his villains. Like, ooh, visually, this villain looks so freaking badass. He's so awesome. And then the payoff just is like, okay, whatever. You know, it's just
31.
Yeah, 31 exactly. I mean, 31
God.
visually, I thought this could be really good just from seeing the trailer. these characters.
Not even that. The opening scene. You're like, all right, what's going on?
Yeah,
Circus from hell, and then it's just nope, nothing.
That's the thing about Rob Zombie, though. It's like I know he doesn't care. So maybe it's not that he doesn't learn. It's just that he doesn't really give a shit about satisfying the critics of his work. But
the people paid for that movie.
But yeah, twice. But it feels like every movie, there's things that he does right and there's things that he does wrong, and he just doesn't learn the fucking lesson. When he moves to the next movie, he fucks this up and does this right. And it just, like you said, 31, that opening scene, when I saw it, I was like, holy shit, this might be pretty good. And then from there...
Yeah.
So
I think I figured it out it took me quite a while to figure out what was wrong with Rob Zombie's dialogue. Because the acting's not, too bad. It's kind of got a Quentin Tarantino-esque delivery with his actors. But I figured it out. As Quentin Tarantino, his dialogue is still very relevant to the plot that's going on. Rob Zombie's dialogue, you could be without it and it wouldn't make a difference.
I think I left my oven on.
Exactly.
I think his problem is that he needs to just give up on writing his own fucking movies, honestly. I think the dude is a talented director. I don't think any of us would dispute that. It's the writing that always gets in the way.
I think the stuff in his head is awesome. Like what he's thinking in his head, like, oh my God, this could be so amazing. But then he just can't get it out of his mouth.
You could tell by the script he thinks his shit doesn't stink too. Like he does. Like Hateful Eight. If you want to compare him to Tarantino, Hateful Eight at moments feels like Tarantino jerking himself off. It's just like, all right, come on, we get it, You like dancing with words, and it just feels like to a way smaller degree, Rob Zombie is the same way with what he does with his.
Yeah, like Hateful Eight could be tightened up a bit, and it would still be a Quentin Tarantino movie.
Yeah.
So
absolutely, but
Brian, you're awfully quiet.
I think we all know how I feel about it.
When's 3 from Hell coming out? Oh, it just tentative 2019. Never mind. I have to see a full trailer because, like I said, I just don't know what the story is.
Yeah,
I don't know what the story is with this because, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Devil's Rejects, but they all get fucking killed at the end. So I don't know where this is going to line up, and that's going to be the big thing with me. Is it just going to be him pulling characters back out of his ass because this is the only franchise that he's been able to sustain? I don't. It might be, but from the title, I'm assuming that they survive, and they look like the character. They're older. They're more disheveled. Like there's a very visual difference between Sid Haig back in the early 2000s and Sid Haig now. So it's not going to really fly as a prequel too much, but we'll see.
If I could, George Lewis 88 says, I'd like a good sequel to It Follows. I would love a sequel to It Follows. Should It Follows be left alone, Brian, or would you welcome a sequel?
No, leave it alone. It's a perfect movie. Leave it be. Don't cock it up.
But it's a premise you could explore, don't you think?
If it's the same writer and director, Brian, yes or no?
If it's the same writer director and he comes out and says he's always had an idea in his head,
which he already has said that, but go ahead.
Okay, that I would be fine with. If some other director comes on because a producer has the rights and they want to turn it into a franchise, then
Amen.
Screw that. Because every bad sequel has usually begun with some executive somewhere in a room saying, "Hey, we could milk this bitch."
Mm-hmm.
I know Lindsay would be like, she'd be covering, her fingers would be in her ears right now during this conversation. Yeah. She does not like talking about It Follows at all.
She just threw her kid as soon as you mentioned the movie. But yeah. I agree with Brian. If it's going to be, director A, producer B, take over It Follows, and we have It Follows Returns or some shit like that, no. But if it's the same director and the same writer, which he said he's already wanted to do a sequel that kind of explores the origin of the curse a little bit more.
Oh, really?
Then, yeah, I read that when I first watched the movie. I don't know how that's developed since, but I would be welcome for a sequel on those conditions alone. Other than that, I'll take Brian's stance. Don't fucking touch it.
It still follows.
Yeah.
CP, any motherfucks to give about 3 from Hell before we move on?
Nah, chill. We can move on.
I'm cool, yo. Let's move on. Let's move on to we'll talk about Godzilla. It's creature feature, right? So
Gojira.
I know we all have
Bathroom
different
break.
opinions on Godzilla too, because I know Cody doesn't really care for the last Godzilla. I liked it; it's not bad.
I loved it.
I could skip over this movie and jump
Sure
right
as
to the
fuck
one where he
seemed like
fights
you
King
loved
Kong.
it whenever I brought that shit up last time. I was like, what? I disagree. Everybody get him.
It's the greatest monster movie ever made.
I am really looking forward to this one because the trailer makes it seem like this is the movie that I wanted last time. I can appreciate a director taking a different stance and kind of, teasing out the ending and everything. To me, Gareth Edwards did way too much of that. And he does that with all of his films, so I'm just not a Gareth Edwards guy. But the trailer we have for King of the Monsters, it looks like it's going to be pretty cool. Like, it's. I'm not a Godzilla fan traditionally. I don't know who the fuck King Ghidorah or any of these people are. And I got schooled, by the way, because I called it King Ghidorah and had 18 fucking comments telling me.
Actually.
Yeah, exactly. So just that one shot alone of them kind of flying towards each other, I was like, okay, I'll take Shane to go see that. Hopefully it's a good time. So I'm looking forward to it.
For me, like the Godzilla franchise, it's just one of those few franchises where I don't really care too much about story. I just want to see monsters beating the shit out of each other. And I get, it's hard for me to dig deep into this and analyze it because it's pretty superficial for me. I just want to see monsters kill each other.
Then why do you like the first one?
Because the monsters were killing each other at the end.
I think that for the exact opposite reason you were talking about, Cody, with 2014, the payoff made the wait that much more rewarding.
I'm with CP.
When his fucking tail gets all blue and lightning, and you're like, oh shit, it's on now.
Yeah,
they tickle your
moments,
balls for
those moments are badass. But it's and let me set the stage for this. Okay, I've only seen the movie once, so if I rewatch it today, I might have a different take on it. I will open myself to that. But let me. This is my experience going to see Godzilla.
Here we go.
I was hyped up from the trailer. I'm not a fan of Godzilla traditionally. I'm like, this is the one. This is the one that says Cody all over it. We had the IMAX theater that just got built in Pooler, which was the first IMAX theater I've ever lived next to. So I prepaid for IMAX, when it was only IMAX 3D was the only thing that you could get. So IMAX 3D tickets for me and my dad, which was like $18 fucking a piece.
Ugh.
We go in. This IMAX theater it's dubbed the Limax now because it's not a true IMAX. So you have that, and then you have this movie that, like I said, I already didn't really care for Gareth Edwards' style, but as soon as Bryan Cranston left the movie, the characters that we're forced to spend time on, I could never get invested in. And that's what the movie focuses on. It doesn't really focus on Godzilla at all. It focuses on Kick-Ass and Scarlet Witch the whole movie, and they had no chemistry whatsoever to my memory. And every time it felt like, okay, we're going to see a fight. Oh, no, never mind. They closed the doors. Oh, we're going to see a fight. Oh, never mind. It's on TV. Oh, we're going to see a fight. Oh, no. And it does it like 8 fucking times. So it was, to me, it started to really fucking annoy me. Like, I love building up to the payoff, but to me, it was like it was teasing too much. So add all that together, and me and my dad walked out with the exact same experience, which was, ugh.
Well, I didn't walk out like that was the greatest movie ever made, but I walked out like that was a pretty cool final act. And so I had a good time. Funny enough, Godzilla was the movie that started my YouTube career, even though I don't have a review out for Godzilla. But that was the first movie I'd said, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm actually going to review. So I got in my car, right? I was going to do one of those car ride reviews, and I started talking about Godzilla, and then I almost threw my phone out the window. And I was like, fuck this. And so I waited 6 months to finally do my first review. I wish I still had that video, though. It'd be funny. Everybody's got that first, I guess, pop in the cherry.
I'm seeing a lot of Cody is correct in the chat. Let's move on.
I'm seeing a lot of 33, and that's it. 33.
I love Godzilla. It's my favorite Godzilla film. I think it's great. So.
I think it's much better than 98 Godzilla. I'll tell you that.
I'll rewatch Godzilla before I see this new one, and I will be the first one to say I was full of shit. But my first viewing experience, I was not pleased.
Like Gino said in the chat, there needs to be a guy in a suit again, and he needs to fucking, when he hits the electric cables, just do all this shit.
And I want to see him with those big feet socks, and he's slamming his feet up against the.
See the zipper?
Yeah, just old school campy Godzilla. Let's get that back.
There we go.
Next movie we could talk about is Us? Yeah, Us is going to be... that one looks really interesting, actually, just because of the premise. Like, I love the premise of that, where the killers look exactly like the family. It's like a family killing a family. I mean, to me, that cries Stephen King plot. Am I wrong on that, Brian?
Twilight Zone.
Yeah, it's a Twilight Zone episode.
Yeah, definitely more of a Twilight Zone vibe about it. I think, like, I like Jordan Peele's style. I like the way he directs. We've only seen Get Out, so that's the only thing we've got to go on. But hey, he is the greatest living director. But I like the trailer from it. I think it's definitely got maybe a bit of a Stephen King vibe about it, but I worry that once again it will delve so deeply into the race issues that to Get Out for me is a very good film, but it kind of got ruined just by how much people bigged it up. And I don't really want to get into this whole thing again because we've been over it so many times on Scream Stream, but I'm optimistic that Us is going to be a very good film. I like the tone from what I can see of the trailer, but please, everyone, just calm the hell down. Let's just...
I got this, Brian. Take it the fuck easy. Sorry, go ahead.
That's it. If it's a good film, great. If it's a very good film, great. Let's say it's a very good film. Let's not start comparing Jordan Peele to all the... let's not start calling him the next John Carpenter and this, that, and the other. Let's wait until he's got like at least 4 or 5 films under his belt before we start making those comparisons, please.
Yeah, a lot of what Brian said. I thought the trailer was really good. I liked how they mixed the music in with it. It does look like it's creepy. It has a lot of the same style to it that Get Out did from the trailer. So it looks like Jordan Peele is going to be one of those guys that's going to have one of those signature styles to him where you could probably look at a trailer and say, oh, it's a Jordan Peele film, which is cool because you don't get a whole lot of directors like that where they have, those signature styles to them where you could pick their film out of the fucking hat like Tarantino. Not to compare him to Tarantino, but the story looks intriguing. It looks like it's going to have some of that horror with bits of comedy edge to it, like when the dude's like, we can get crazy. Like it looks like it's going to have that vibe to it. He's went on record saying it's going to be a more straightforward horror film. It's probably not going to dive into a whole lot of subtext and social commentary like Get Out did, although I'm sure there'll probably be a little bit, otherwise people will be upset. But like Brian said, I'm really looking forward to it. I have confidence that it's going to be good because, like he said, I'm also a fan of Get Out. I'm not ready to hand Us the Best Picture Oscar yet, but yeah, let's hope it's good.
It already looks better than Black Panther.
I pulled a Cody.
Hi, Holly.
I'm just calling a spade a spade.
Oh, hey, hey, Holly. Well, you know what? You should probably use that terminology when speaking of such subjects.
That's true.
I purposely didn't watch the trailer because everybody and their mother's talking about how great Jordan Peele is, so I'm going in blind.
Yeah, that's a good move. I tell you that trailer, that's one of the better trailers I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
And really maybe I'll go watch it afterwards. But
yeah,
it's a good trailer.
You could do it pretty much it and do the post-trailer reaction.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever heard of that?
All right, so I saw the movie, and
that's what Pretty Much It was doing for a while, though. They were doing like a post-trailer reaction, which is weird. It's a good idea. So.
Sure.
Wish I wouldn't have saw the film first. It's kind of ruining my experience with the trailer.
I remember this.
Well, for me, like, I don't think it's a movie that race has to get involved in. The premise alone doesn't harken race relations. It just looks like a straight up psychotic horror type of premise, Twilight Zone type of movie. So if race is a factor in this movie, then that would be annoying to me because it just doesn't need to be.
Yeah.
So.
And we'll make it clear. I mean, it's four white guys saying this, so we're not saying that race is not a subject to ever delve into storytelling
not
movies. But Get Out was like, white people are evil, like beating you on the head with it. So as long as it's not part 2 of that, we're good.
Have you seen 2018 in film? Because that movie came out once a month last year too. So
no shit.
We get it. We get it.
It's like if you look at the Best Picture Oscar nominations, and I mean all 8 of the Best Picture nominations focus on, in some way, either race issues or gay issues. And some do both at the same time. It's like this year, you were not getting nominated for Best Picture unless you touched on one of those two things.
Star
is Born. Responding to
Star is Born has the whole thing about the transvestite group in there.
Okay.
So,
Wow, Brian. Somebody's got some radar vision there. I forgot about that. Yeah. All right.
Kudos.
I'm actually responding to Red Danger right now because he's saying Black Panther is great. How dare you? Hey, I like Black Panther, but if I compare it to, just to pull a movie out of the hat, like movies like Nightcrawler, to me that's like Oscar type stuff. Black Panther's just a fun popcorn superhero movie. I don't.
You don't even need to compare Black Panther to a movie like Nightcrawler. Compare it to other movies of its genre.
Yeah,
it wasn't even the best comic book movie of last year.
Mission Impossible Fallout last year too. Nothing.
Yeah, Mission Impossible Fallout's a much better film, I think.
Easy.
So,
drink that Kool-Aid though. Black Panther needs Best Picture. It needs it.
Even the CGI is pretty
culturally relevant.
What is that?
hey, Black Klansman's a better film too. If you want to go that route.
But this is the problem that we have too, because we had the same debate the year that Get Out came out, because Get Out came out the same year as Detroit, which to me Detroit was 10 times as effective as Get Out was, but you run into that sticky situation where they go, oh, well, of course the movie about black people getting the shit beat out of them gets a nomination. Or you get Black Klansman, oh, of course the movie with the white fucking Ku Klux Klan gets nominated. You have the whole 12 Years a Slave thing come back, so you can't please anybody anymore.
See A Star is Born?
Yes.
Yeah.
What'd you guys think? I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was like, the most amazing movie ever.
I loved it.
Give him a top 5 of the year.
I had absolutely no reason to like that movie. As soon as I read what it was, I'm like, oh, this story that's already been remade like 3 times with Lady Gaga, which I was already annoyed that she got so much praise for American Horror Story because I only saw one. In her defense, I only saw one episode, but at the same time, I saw one episode. I'm like, really? But I saw the movie because I was curious what Bradley Cooper was going to do as a director, and I loved it. I loved the music. I thought Lady Gaga acted her ass off, and I'm really curious to see what she does from now on. I thought Bradley Cooper was fucking great. Their chemistry was great. The story, even though it's been done before, I thought it was great the way that it was built and the way that they kind of... It's kind of a spoiler alert if you have not seen A Star is Born, but it's the same exact ending that we've had for the past 3, so hopefully it's not that big of a shock. But when you get into the song Shallow that they wrote, or that they open their kind of relationship with, when she kind of gives him a few verses in a parking lot, a couple of weeks later they're on stage and he finishes writing and finishes arranging the song to invite her up to kind of birth her career. They bookend the movie with her doing the same thing. It's a song that he begins to write for her, and she finishes the writing and finishes the arrangement for it as like a send-off for him. So there's a lot of nice little details in there in that movie. It came this close to making my top 10.
Well, I had just seen Bohemian Rhapsody like right before. I loved Bohemian Rhapsody, so for me, I didn't even think it compared.
Totally different movie. Totally different movie. Bohemian Rhapsody is very popcorn, fun. We'll get into the biopic, everything like that. A Star is Born.
It gets to the point too, and I think A Star is Born is a little drug out.
Well, I mean, Bohemian Rhapsody was my number 5, so I liked it better overall. I had a more enjoyable experience. How that'll change over time, but A Star is Born to me it had way more going on in the movie than I ever gave it credit for by hearing about it. And I think it's a fucking shame that Bradley Cooper did not get nominated for best.
Yeah, I was going to say Beth S. That's one thing I will agree is Bradley Cooper was amazing in that. It was everything around him that I didn't think was all that, but I did.
As a director, though, as a director, he should have been nominated. He's been nominated for acting, but he should have been nominated for director because I thought what he did was pretty incredible.
Yeah, hopefully I don't steal Brian's thunder on this, because I watched his ranking the Oscar movies, and we were having a kind of a side conversation about it, because he was the only person that I heard address this. The only thing in the movie, from start to finish, the only thing that bugged the shit out of me that I would say is a negative is that the event that leads to Bradley Cooper's fate is never dealt with. Like, there's a character that says something that leads to him making a decision that they just skate past. Like, they never have any, like, Lady Gaga talking to this person or you know, anything like that. And that annoyed me through the end of the movie. I'm like, what the fuck? What about him? So, without giving too many details, that was the only thing in the movie that did bug me. Everything else I thought was great.
It bugged me, and it leaves you feeling hollow at the end of the film. So while she's having this beautiful moment at the end, it's kind of tainted by the fact that really what you're saying inside is, get that son of a bitch.
Yes.
Make him pay. But on the flip side of that, that's life. That's how it would happen.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's not like he would
Not
go
everything's
tell her.
wrapped up in a nice bow in life, you know?
If that conversation had actually happened in real life, which led to what it led to, he's not going to come clean. He's not going to come clean and say, oh, yeah, that might be my fault, guys.
Who said Hereditary is overrated? I don't think so. That's
idiots.
That movie's well deserved. It's not for everybody, and for some people, it's a one-time watch. But as far as like from a technical standpoint, that is a very well-directed film. Definitely.
I will say that the only thing that's overrated about Hereditary for me is people that overhype it as the scariest movie since Exorcist and everything like that. Yeah. Other than that, even though I had my issues with it, I wouldn't say
it's scary. I would say it's powerful. That's
unnerving.
I found it quite scary, I've got to say. And it depends on your definition of scary, I guess.
But you thought Ernest Goes to Camp was scary. Do we want to move on to Happy Death Day to You?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, that could be fun. CP, did
it
you
is
like
Groundhog
the first
Day.
Happy Death Day? Yeah, Groundhog Day. Did you like the first one, CP?
Sure.
It's a good time, right?
Sure, it's fine.
It's fine. Yeah, it's fine.
PG-13. PG-13 again. Spoiler, don't watch the trailer if you haven't seen the first one for the second one, because they totally fucking...
Oh my god, they show you every freaking way she dies in the trailer.
And they tell you who the killer is in the trailer.
Oh yeah, in the trailer for the second one, yeah. If you haven't seen the first movie, do not watch the trailer for the second.
I mean, if you haven't seen Happy Death Day by now, you're not going to watch it. So.
Yeah.
I mean,
exactly.
In their defense, yeah. I guess I walked away enjoying Happy Death Day more than most. I think it's because my expectations were so low. I was from the trailer when I remember I think we all talked about the trailer. It was like, what the fuck is this babyface bullshit? This is ridiculous. Yeah. This is going to be that swing and a miss thing that Blumhouse does twice a year. So I went and saw it, and I had a really good time with it. My biggest negative is still there. It should have been rated R. You should have had some really grisly kills and made it kind of like Final Destination style. I think that would have been a fucking perfect movie then. Yeah. But I had a lot of fun with it. Yeah, we'll get to it. I love the comedy mix that they had in it. I had a lot of fun with it. I thought the main character Tree and her kind of growth as a character was great. Had a lot of fun with it. This trailer promises more of that, so I'm totally on board.
Thank you, Donald Newton. I will say, I like Hellfest, which I thought was PG-13, but I later found out was rated R. I like that a little bit better than Happy Death Day. I'm not even a big fan of Hellfest. It wasn't even in my top 20 of the year. So that's how I felt. But I will say I watched Happy Death Day a second time. I liked it a little bit better. I still have the same problems with it, though. I love it up to the first half. There's a lot of fun to be had in that first half, and then it kind of just peters out for me after that. It goes in all these weird directions, and I just didn't care. But the second one, I'm really curious about because there's more than one victim, and that got my attention. Because in the first one, it's just her that keeps dying, whereas in the next one, she's got to keep dying to prevent her friends from dying. So yeah, that's what grabs my attention about the second one. I think I'm going to like the second one better if I have to predict it.
Gotcha.
What about you, Brian?
Yeah, I found that the first one was kind of fun, if a little bit limp, and the main problem for me was that the timings were completely off. They were completely inconsistent. Yeah. So she'd do something in the bedroom and then get to the door and open the door, and then that guy would be there. And yet there'd be other times where, because she knew she'd been through this before, she'd instantly get up, grab her clothes, and go straight to the door.
Yeah.
Lots of contrivances.
The guy's still there. And it's like, well, the timing's completely off. She didn't do it in the same amount of time then, so why would he be in the exact same spot? And it was just stuff like that that kind of annoyed me
it's
a
like
bit.
a poetic license type thing. These movies are cheeseburgers, and that they don't really care to like tighten up the script that much. You know what you're getting into when you watch these movies, and I think that's why they're doing them like that. But
Brian, you and Holly would be hilarious to watch a movie together because you have the same attention to detail for stuff that just goes way past me. That like Holly, just to interject for a second, Holly is OCD about details like that to the degree like if somebody's hair shifts between cuts, she's like, what the fuck? Like, I was like, if you directed a movie, it would take 10 years because you would go over it and you would. Yeah, exactly. So
the first time I watched The Ring back in 2002, I think when it came out, I watched it. I was in Korea at the time, and I watched it with a roommate of mine, and he wasn't even a horror fan, which made it even worse. But he was like Holly. He freaking nitpicked, and he was verbal about it. I literally wanted to punch him in the face by like 10 minutes into the movie.
I didn't want to punch her in the face.
And he was a good friend.
In case she's listening. But I tell her every time, she's like, look at this scene right here. I'm like, what? She's like, his hair's on the left, and now it's on the right. Now it's on the left again. What the fuck? And I'm like, I don't see this. Like, so, there she is. She just.
I see Holly in the chat. Holly, I would never ever punch you in the face. Just want you to know that.
She would punch all of us in the face.
Yeah, Holly would probably beat my ass if I even attempted. So. Okay, any more thoughts on Happy Death Day to You before we move on to the next one?
Expect our reviews soon because it's only like a week and a half away.
Yeah, man. It's been kind of dry at the box office lately. I haven't.
I'm glad. I need a fucking break.
Yeah, so I'm looking to see if there's any other. Like Zombieland 2 is supposed to come out this year.
It Chapter 2.
There is actually another 2 Stephen King adaptations. So we've got It Chapter 2.
Dr. Sleep.
There's a film called In the Tall Grass.
Oh, okay. Well, there's another Stephen King movie here that says Dr. Sleep.
Mm-hmm. That's the sequel to The Shining.
Oh,
yes.
Wow.
Of course.
It's directed by Mike Flanagan.
All right, so jumping into It Chapter 2, let me just say this. After... Sorry.
Okay. Big gulp, huh?
Well, see you later.
Big gulps. Cool.
Yeah.
What was I saying? It Chapter 2. When I recently saw the first. Me and Cody both did reviews because he grew up with the It television series, and I saw it for the first time. That second half is goddamn painful to get through.
Awful.
Oh yes,
Awful.
it is.
So
even for
that's
somebody
what worries
that loves
me
it,
about this movie. Like they got to make a lot of changes for this to be good.
Even the people that love the book say the second half of the book doesn't even compare to the first one. So it's not just the movie's fault. It's the fucking bedrock that the story lays on. So I said that in my most anticipated movies because this popped up as number 3, I think. They have to change quite a bit. They're going to have to bring back the kids and flashbacks to bring that flavor back. They're going to have to do some serious story changes because it goes fucking bananas. It goes into like quantum realms and there's there's a weird shit in that second half. So. And the giant spider, please do not do that spider. I know they had they had the spider legs in the first It, which drove me nuts because that was like a little hint. Don't do the spider. Stick with the clown, please.
Now, what if they give you like a really cool looking CGI spider, like say Lord of the Rings, Return of the King or something like that?
They're not going to because the CG was my biggest gripe with the Chapter 1. Because anytime it was like practical stuff, whenever, Skarsgård was doing his thing, I thought it was great. Whenever it went super CGI, it took me out of the movie, and I don't see them ramping it up too much with a 2-year turnaround. So if they can, hypothetically, cool. If they can make that work, to me, the clown is what's scary. So devolving it down into a spider just doesn't cap the movie off with a punch. It just makes it feel like, well, the clown would have been scarier than this. What the fuck, the spider?
Hell, even Pennywise isn't in the second half nearly as much as the first half. So they're going to have to use him a lot more in this one, I think. So he's pretty much the glue that's going to hold it together. So I don't know. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the adult cast. The adults seem like they're cast really well. You got James McAvoy as Bill.
Yeah.
They kind of had the social media campaign to get who that is? It Kate Blanchett or is it somebody else? No, it's not Kate Blanchett. It's the other redhead.
Jessica Chastain.
Jessica Chastain. They got
honest, I think they're going to be the glue that holds it together. And even with the first one, I thought it was the kids that were the glue that held it together.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
As good as Skarsgård was, it was actually those relationships and seeing that group of kids together. You really
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what made the first movie special to me. I mean,
it was the whole package. If they could get that with the adults, then I think we'll be onto something.
And Pennywise was pretty damn creepy too in the remake, I think. So
yeah, he was good. He didn't have the impact that Tim Curry had on me. He'll always have that to measure up to. But if he does as good or hopefully even a little bit better in Chapter 2, I think we got a damn good chance at a perfect little duology.
Tim Curry, but like I said, I didn't grow up with it like you did. But Tim Curry was still good. I liked. I mean, he created his own version of Pennywise. So
yeah. Well, I mean, you had to give credit where credit's due too. Tim Curry didn't have all the bells and whistles that Skarsgård has to help him out.
No,
nope, he had to be scary with makeup. That's it.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
I dropped a bomb in the chat. I said 2010 Elm Street is highly underrated. It's just to stir up some shit.
Fired.
Yeah, I know. I want a Freddy movie so goddamn bad. I had a question for you guys. The only big franchises that have a sequel to a remake, really only one, is Halloween. Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 is the only part 2 of a remake that's out there. Now, you do have the prequel to Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Why do you think that is? Why can't they move forward with a remake and start a new series of movies? Like I would love if they continued Elm Street from 2010.
Well, when they had the remake craze, I think their focus was on redoing as many franchises as possible, not necessarily carrying on a success. They did it with Texas Chainsaw.
Yeah, that's true. Hills Have Eyes. I'll give you that.
But if we're just talking about if we're just talking about the big three, you got to look at the 3 remakes for the big 3. They're all extremely divisive with fans, and they all got shit on by the critics.
Yeah.
Halloween. I think Nightmare on Elm Street is probably the most hated of the 3 as far as fans go. From the climate that I gather, Halloween is probably the most accepted. As weird as that sounds, I still don't understand.
They all make money too, which is bullshit.
Yeah, Friday the 13th.
Why not continue the story? It's just,
I don't know.
I think it's a generational thing. I think it's because we're in the internet age and people, they go online and they see these movies are raked across the coals in the forums and they're like, "Ooh, these people don't like it. Let's start over." Instead of just having some balls and say, "You know what? Let's continue the story." And maybe they'll appreciate the first one more after the story starts unfolding in the sequels.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got your sequel to Halloween 2, which was more divisive. Jason, I think, just creatively, they just never know where the fuck to go with it because they had to combine 4 movies to come up with the story for the first one. So they were spinning their wheels with what to do with that all the way up until last year or the year before when they were going to do a movie about his fucking father. Then you got Nightmare on Elm Street, which to me, from what I gather, is the least successful critically, the least successful fan-wise. So that was another one. They're like, fuck, what do we do now? Do we recast Freddy? Is that the problem? Do we go in a different story direction? And they just never knew what to do.
It just irks me, man. It literally pisses me off. The Elm Street remake is probably my favorite of the remakes, if I'm being honest. It really is. I like it better than Rob Zombie's Halloween. I like it better than the Friday remake because of the characters. I hate the fucking characters in that movie. Yeah. So
Friday remake is clearly the best of the bunch. Way beyond.
You're a liar.
I second that.
Yeah. Nope.
The Friday remake made my top 5 on the 31 on 31st. The other 2 were like mid-ground. So I mean, there you go. We got a super chat. Go ahead.
If they shored up those characters a bit in the Friday remake could have been the best of the bunch because of Derek Mears. Like the guy was amazing. Like as far as like the icons, he was the best of the remake icons.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, by far.
Go ahead, CP.
Donald, $5 in the chat. Thank you.
Thank you, Don.
He's watching on the TV. So I wish you could join a video with us.
Hey, Donald, I'm just saying this for the future, man. We appreciate the hell out of it, but just so you know, YouTube takes a percentage out of every super chat. So if you do the multiple thing, it's going to take less, or it's going to take more and more away from your donation. I don't know if that's just throwing that out there.
You're essentially paying YouTube to.
Yeah. Regardless, we appreciate it. I'm just telling you that just so you know how it works. They'll tax the shit out of it if it's multiple ones versus if you were just going to put one out.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
YouTube is smiling right now.
Yeah. A lot of people don't realize that. That's why I threw that out there.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. I'm looking for... Now, we got that New Mutants. Is that thing ever going to come out?
Dude, I don't fucking know. It's supposed to be on...
It's weird, man.
The New Mutants and Dark Phoenix is like in this ether of fucking purgatory right now. Like, supposedly Dark Phoenix is god-awful. They don't know what to do with it. They might put it on fucking Hulu or something. The New Mutants, I don't even know if the movie we get, if we ever get it, is going to be anywhere close to that trailer that we got. And if it's not what that trailer promises, then I have no interest in it. Because the only reason I was interested in the New Mutants is because it was Fox experimental X-Men movie in the horror universe. Exactly. Mm-hmm. And after Deadpool and after Logan, I am totally all in with whatever they want to experiment with.
Yeah.
But this whole Disney deal is just like, I think they're giving up. They're like, whatever. Like, this is our last shot. Whatever. Just fucking, yeah.
I mean, it's a horror X-Men movie.
Yeah.
I don't get why they don't put it out. It makes no sense to me.
I'm with you.
Yeah, the movie's gonna be out, and it like what 10 years later probably, and those kids are gonna be like, "Holy shit! I forgot I even shot that movie." So.
Yeah.
You know, Bella Thorne does nothing but those movies.
Yeah, I know. Amityville.
Yeah.
I still haven't seen that one either. Is it worth my time?
Dude, I don't know.
Okay.
I know it was shot in 2013 and came out last year.
Josh from Future Filmmaker says that New Mutants is in post-production. It's been in post-production for, what, 3 years now?
A lot of editing.
It was supposed to come out last summer or last fall, and then they pushed it back a full year. And there's been nothing new since then. And we're getting closer and closer to this Disney-Fox merger. So the closer we get to that, the closer you have somebody else pulling the strings.
Yeah. Well, guys, I think we covered all the big guns, some of the little guns. If I missed any, guys, are there any others that I missed?
Breitbart.
Brightburn looks interesting as hell, actually.
It may not be horror, but it certainly looks like it has horror elements.
Yeah. James Gunn's. Did he direct that one, or is it just a producer?
No.
He just produced it. Okay. But I mean, it screams Superman.
Yeah, Superman with a little fucked up twist.
Now, is it like he doesn't know that he's got, like, unbreakable? Like he doesn't know he has superpowers? Or
no, he knows.
Okay.
He's just a bad dude.
Yeah. That trailer jumped out at me. Like, I can't wait to see that. That looks pretty damn good, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So, Holly, we talked about Pet Sematary. I think that was the second movie we talked about, actually.
The Intruder. What is that? Is that?
Oh, that's the one with Dennis Quaid. He moves out of his house, but he doesn't want to give it up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Is that fucking Screen Gems? Are they doing that?
It looks stock, you know?
Let me see.
It just looks very stock.
If it is Screen Gems. Screen Gems is that company.
Like 10 times already.
Sony.
Screen Gems is that company that it's either in May or September they release the same movie every year, and it always stars either Morris Chestnut or Idris Elba. It's about the fucking,
it's
where
the hand that rocks the cradle
and everything like that. Yeah, exactly. It's that kind of churned out over and over again. So yeah, Dennis Quaid is the only reason I would watch that.
Yeah, Dennis Quaid does look pretty good in that. But yeah, I mean, it's like, this is my family.
Were they Traffic last year? Is that what was the?
Yeah. There you go.
What was Screen Gems from last year?
I don't know. The only one I've seen is the one, because I was early in my YouTube career. I figured this would be a fun review. Was the one where it's like the hand that rocks the cradle, but where the bow breaks. That one.
Oh, Cecil's in the chat.
Oh. Hey, Cecil.
Yeah, there he goes.
Congratulations on 25K, although nothing I can say could top CP's tribute, so focused and impactful. I agree. I agree immensely.
Mother Mayhem with the popcorn.
Yeah, and Mother Mayhem with the popcorn.
Cecil, we've been waiting for you to jump in, because as soon as all of us saw it, we were like, oh, man. That was, yeah. We all got a good laugh out of that. I hope you did too.
Oh, I've taken some swings from CP like you wouldn't believe. It's
He even took one there too.
Yeah, it's always in good
that was when I laughed the most, is when you were coughing and it showed drum. I was like, oh god, yes.
I took some hits in that video. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Shit, I did too. The over-exaggerated poses.
One of my favorites that CP got of me was he was like, I wish Lee would like get into the fucking center of the screen, because he's like half his body is to the very right of the screen. Yeah. And I was like, oh my god, he's right.
Yeah. The cinematography's terrible. Oh, is it? Is it? Cinematography's bad, is it, Lee?
Every review. Let me talk about the cinematography for 10 minutes.
We just want to point out to Richie work that James Gunn didn't write Brightburn. His brothers have written it, Mark and Brian Gunn.
Look at you go. Wrong guns.
Wrong guns.
Movie freak, I'm hyped for John Wick 3. I'm not hyped for Hobbs and Shaw. Out.
Ooh.
I'll say this. I'll take Hobbs and Shaw way faster than I'll take another Fast and the Furious movie, because at least that movie knows exactly what
it looks better than the last 3 Fast and Furious trailers.
It looks like Tango and Cash on like 18 pounds of steroids.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason that I'm interested in that. Although I rewatched Walking Tall yesterday, and I wish The Rock would go back to doing at least once in a while movies like that, where a little bit more drama, or a little bit more small scale. I'm getting a little burnout on the summer movie popcorn season Rock movie, because it's like, Skyscraper, Jumanji,
and
Hobbs
he's a Mary
and Shaw.
Jane in all the fucking movies too.
Yeah, exactly. I would go back to being a villain once in a while, something. I love The Rock. I love the dude as a person. He seems like one of the coolest fucking dudes in Hollywood. The guy's ungodly as far as how hard he works and how many movies he turns out. But I just want a little variety.
I think if it wasn't associated with the previous Fast and Furious movies, like if it was just a movie on its own, I'd probably be more excited for it. If I'm being honest, I think Lindsay wants us to roast her.
No.
Holly comes in with a good one. What about Hellboy?
Oh, that trailer. I don't know.
Hard pass.
Well, this is the weird thing. This is the weird thing. They've been hyping that movie up so much as being darker and rated R and more like the comics, and then they released this fucking like PG-13 popcorn comedy that looks exactly like somebody.
Stupid.
It looks exactly like they're trying to redo the Ron Perlman Hellboy, and it's just like, this isn't what you promised us.
With a different tone. Super chat.
Yeah, Justin Brandyboy. Hope I said that right. What are your thoughts on The Prodigy? Just another creepy little kid, or something with potential? I've heard of it. I don't think I've seen the trailer for it. Have you guys seen anything about The Prodigy?
The kid with the unmatching eyes. You've probably seen the trailer. The trailer closes with the kid at the end of the hallway, and the mom's like, "What's the problem?" And he runs, and then when he gets to the shadow, it's a jump scare, and he's actually a grown-up. It looks awfully modern day jump scary. Fucking.
Well, way to sell it.
Yeah, thanks, CP.
Well, I mean, go watch the trailer and prove
Well, speaking
me
of
wrong.
jump scares, did you see I can't even say the name of it. It's like La Magarena or something like the new James Wan produced movie with the car door. It's like the car window, and they're rolling down the window. It's pretty much the same trailer, beat for beat, as The Nun.
Mm-hmm.
It looks horrible.
Well,
yeah.
Again, way to sell it.
Yeah, thank you. I'm doing the best I can.
Throw that in the back pocket. Oh man.
I'll say Lindsay needs to get a new microphone. So.
Oh yeah. There. I'll put that in the roast. Yeah. Lindsay, you got to get to 25.
Get out of the tunnel. That's all I'm saying.
Grave Warmer
and I love
on Super Chats, $2. He just says Jake Gyllenhaal horror movie, 2019 Netflix. I saw it today. I thought it was good, but I thought they would have been a bit harder in places. I think I feel like maybe they shied away from going as dark as they possibly could with it, which is quite strange given that it's from the writer-director of Nightcrawler. I still think it's a good film. I do think it's solid stuff. All the performances are great, but yeah, I just feel like sometimes they cut away too soon, or they just flat out don't show you what's happening in some cases. So
I watched the first 35 minutes of it last night and fell asleep, so it's not a movie to put on when you're tired laying down. So I'm going to rewatch it. But I really don't have anything to say about it other than that so far it's interesting.
What were the 2 movies that you said you're gonna review, Cody, for that are on Netflix?
Well, I want to do Velvet Buzzsaw, but there's also one that was released last week called Polar with Mads Mikkelsen.
Yeah.
It's where he's like an assassin. It's from what I'm told from Sean Chandler, it's more like Crank than it is John Wick. So that interests me. I've heard it's really bloody and violent and like it goes to be offensive. So that sounds awesome to me.
What was the movie that I've been like hyping to you guys? I can never remember the name of the damn movie.
Halloween 2018.
No. I got 3 Halloween videos coming up for you, baby.
It was like What About You or something like that, or
What Keeps You Alive. I can't, guys. Anybody in the chat seen What Keeps You Alive? I can't recommend this movie enough. I mean, there are literally 4 characters in the whole movie, and it's all in the woods, and it's got like an Evil Dead vibe. It's got a definite John Carpenter vibe in some of the camera movements. And some really crazy, violent scenes. I just loved it. I'm gonna be recording my review.
You got to stop comparing things to Carpenter, Lee.
Sorry,
Ice Cream Truck is in that same group. So
it's got neighborhoods.
What's the spectrum?
It's got neighborhoods.
3.4. Thank you, Kel.
Put that on her shirt.
I would give What Keeps You Alive a 3.7. Minus.
Oh, that's high praise.
Yeah, instead of a 3.4. Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah.
I think are we ready to wrap this thing up, guys?
Brian's visually showing us that he's spent. So.
He can't do it anymore. Yeah. Will Smith says What Keeps You Alive is great. There you go.
Sleep keep Brian alive, so that's pretty.
Yeah. What keeps Brian alive is not being up at 3 a.m.
Well, I met Jordan Peele at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
There you go.
Love you, Brian.
Cody, what do you got coming up besides the 2 Netflix things that I just get?
Yeah, I'm hoping to do those, but other than that, it's just Patreon stuff. I have a Fright Night review, the original Fright Night, that's going to be dropping immediately after we sign off. I didn't want to post it at the same time. But that's going to be dropping here in about 10, 15 minutes, so look out for that. Other than that, I have a whole list of shit. Like I have Killer Clowns from Outer Space, The Prestige. Somebody requested The Crow a couple of days ago. One of my newer.
You get all the great requests. Not that mine aren't good. But yeah.
I've had a few. I've had a few tricky ones that were not my forte, but I suffered through them. But I got shit. I'm blanking. I've got like 15 that I want to do between now and the end of February. While there's not a whole lot coming out aside from Happy Death Day, so I'm kind of utilizing this time to catch up because I've been neglecting those reviews a little bit when we had the busy season at the end of the year last year. So that's predominantly what I've got. For 25,000, which I should hopefully be reaching by the end of tonight, if not tomorrow morning, I'm going to do a full Blu-ray collection video. So tonight, while I have the house to myself, I'm going to go ahead and utilize that once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to film that in here.
That bachelor lifestyle, man.
There you go.
Let me tell you.
But I got that. And I've had a lot of people messaging me asking where Off the Shelves went. It was the Blu-ray haul video I used to do every month. So I'm going to do one for this month to see if the views are a little bit better. I stopped doing it because, one, I didn't like keeping all the Blu-rays I bought for a month in a corner stacked over the side. It always drove me nuts, and it drove Holly nuts especially, which in turn drove me nuts. So, I'm going to try it again to see if the views are a little bit better because they kind of topped out around 1,000 for the longest time.
Oh man, that sucks when it only reaches 1,000.
White people problems. But that's pretty much it. A whole slew of Patreon stuff, and hopefully the 2 Netflix reviews, and of course, Happy Death Day.
Lindsay says she has a top 10 that's coming out. She's very secretive about what she reviews, though. Like, she won't tell you until like the last second. So she's got a Die Hard review coming up sometime this year.
Marketing.
Yep. I wish she would come back with her In Defense Of series. I actually enjoy those. Those are pretty good. In Defense Of getting a microphone. I love you, Lindsay. Okay, CP, what do you got coming up?
I'm finishing my list for 2018. My yeah, well, by the Oscars.
It's going to be out in December of 2019.
Well, I'm kind of on par. Usually, I did them around late January, early February. So this isn't too far off from what I'm normally doing. Mm-hmm. But those who would like that videos, they tend to get attention.
Nobody.
So I'll be doing. Yeah, dude, absolutely. I had to watch Serbian film twice to source.
Man. I don't know how you do it.
Yeah.
CP's going to get himself in a rut. He's going to be the guy that has to review the horrible movies that nobody wants to. Dude,
Sallow still just a solid fucking 500 views a week. So I don't know what I'm doing. So it's Cannibal Holocaust next. Hey.
Good luck.
Hopefully not too much rape.
Enthusiasm.
Yeah. No, it's hard. It's just, can I watch a movie without rape in it, please? Can I just one of these movies not have rape, please? Thank you. Also, Emily's going to be experiencing Unbreakable, Split, and Glass all in the same day, and we're going to document that and put it on my channel for some reason. I don't know why, but
watch them in reverse.
Yeah. So that's probably my February.
Bri, what do you got? Too fly for a Bri guy?
I've got a few reviews already recorded and edited. I've got the 2 Hellboys.
How do you do that? Like, how do you record and edit like 4 reviews in a row, and then I can't do that. I'm a one at a time guy.
No, I just do. I have to because I have to fit them around everything else. But
okay.
I've got 2 Hellboys to go. I've got a True Romance review ready to go.
Ooh,
that's a good one.
Must think it's White Boy Day.
Yeah. I don't think it's White
Got
Boy Day.
my top 5 trilogies video coming. I've got a few other top 5s that I've done, and I will be starting a David Fincher season soon. So.
Ooh, man, heavy hitters there.
Finally decided on David Fincher. That makes me very happy.
Well, I got. Amanda mentioned Tourist Trap. That's one that I'm definitely going to be reviewing soon. I'm really into these like 80s slashers. I just did Pieces not too long ago. I'm in the middle of my Star Wars run right now. I finished up the prequel trilogy. I got Solo recorded, so I'm going to be editing that tomorrow. Hopefully, I'll get Solo out tomorrow. I just got in the mail today Slumber Party Massacre 2 and 3 double feature, which is out of print, by the way. So that's really shot up there in price on eBay. But
let me interject for 1 second. John Kyle Stanton, yes, while we're talking about mail, I did check my P.O. box. I got your package. Thank you so much. I have one more thing that I was told is coming very soon. So I'm going to hold off, and I'm going to open yours and this next package on an unboxing video. So look out for that. But thank you very much. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No problem. I like to do that too, kind of bundle up on my... Because I just got the horror pack in, but I'm expecting like a couple other packages. So I'm going to hit it all at once. So it's nice.
None of you are doing anything for Women in Horror Month, huh? Typical. I'll review Misery. There you go.
There you go.
I'll put a note in my review for Cannibal Holocaust about women somewhere.
I'm going to make it my mission to do the Evil Dead remake for Women in Horror Month because that's a good one for that.
Did you get the unrated Blu-ray?
No, I need to get it.
It was kind of a quiet little release, but yeah, I snagged it while it was on Amazon because I figured it was going to be one of those things that got yanked. But yeah,
there's an unrated one. Worth it?
I haven't watched it yet, but I heard I've heard it's going to be a little bit. If you can imagine that movie being more extreme, go ahead.
I've just remembered as well. I've got From Dusk Till Dawn series coming as well, doing the 3 movies. So that's got Salma Hayek going for it. So.
Oh hey, Reason Alone. Chicken pussy, dog pussy, hairy pussy, stinky pussy.
Okay.
Sorry.
Funny story.
Just quoting the movie.
I still have memories of my dad taking me to go see that movie because the trailer does not warn you of that. Obviously, there's 2 movies. There's that, and then there's 8 mm with Nicolas Cage, where my dad took me to go see it based off the trailer, and the whole movie he's like, I'm like, stop! I want to hear. So.
John Kyle Stanton says, CP, are you afraid that your YouTube channel is going to be suspended because of how disrespectful you are to slipcovers?
I'm already a black mark on the BlueTube community.
CP, did you get a slipcover for Suspiria?
No, I didn't buy Suspiria because reasons. But
I did.
But no. Yeah, it wasn't there. It wasn't
I got
there.
They had one copy at my Best Buy, and it happened to have the slipcover. So.
No shit. It's so strange. There was 2 copies at mine, and no. I wanted to get the Synapse. The Synapse did the 77. Apparently, that's stock with special features. So
we were actually discussing with like Lindsay of us all doing like a Suspiria comparison Scream stream where we compared like Argentos and Guadagnino's in one, because there's a lot to discuss between both those movies. So if that's something that you guys are still interested in, I'd totally be down for that after we give them another fresh watch. That could be a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Brian, I think Brian still needs to watch both of them. So that'll be interesting to see. I think that'll be interesting to see how he views it, watching both of them for the same time.
In the same day.
I would even like him to watch the new one first before he watches Argento's, just out of curiosity. No? Okay.
I don't know, because it's probably common knowledge at this point, but the mystery of the first one is not a mystery in the remake. They tell you right off the bat. So I would be more curious. I'd be more curious for him to watch and go along the ride of the original, because when you get to the second, it's not a ride. They tell you when they go in a completely different direction.
Plus, I don't want Lindsay making out that I only like the new one more than the original because I saw
she's going to do that anyway. She's going to give you the third degree no matter what, so just be ready for it.
Yeah, if you wouldn't have watched Black Christmas before Black Xmas, man, you fucked it all up.
Hi, Art.
Black Xmas.
All right.
It's my anniversary in a couple weeks. Hopefully everybody here is going to contribute.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Donald Newton says, last message for tonight. So it's been great, guys. Can't wait to see you again. You are the best. Keep up with my story. I'll be here for you guys. Yeah, if you're on Killer Flicks, check out Donald Newton's story. Really good stuff. And, keep pressing away with that story, Donald. And, hey, everybody, thank you for watching tonight. And hopefully it won't be too long before the next Scream stream. We try to do them every 2 weeks, but, we got 5 people's schedules to contend with, so we do the best we can. But
when you add in children, we got like 12 people's schedules.
Yeah. So, CP, you want to lead us out?
Today's edible panties flavor is sour green apple.
Yes.
Top seller.
That's
Wait, that's not sour? No.
It's hard for me to hit stop streaming because sour green apple. Now I really want sour green apple.
Hey, see?
Good night, everybody.